And I'm out here in Fuengirola, right in front of the statue. Statue of a very, very strong lady, you know. Who does it remind me of? I mean, gives me reminiscences of, I don't know, Boadicea, Joan of Arc. That type of thing. Give her a bit more straggly hair, it could be Medusa. These sort of mythological, fictionalized, yet based on, I don't know about Medusa, but the other two apparently based on some kind of historical perspective, and it's an indication of strength. It's also an indication of possibly female ideology. It's very, very difficult to change the ideology of a lot of women, because most of it is about feelings and emotions as opposed to logic and reality. So I'm down here, I'm right next to the harbour. Actually, well, if I can, see if I can wander along there. I've done this before, I think. I don't really want to go on the sand. I got a major problem with my foot. I went out just wandering around the other day and clearly got something caught under the ball of my foot on the left foot. It led to a massive blister that I then popped, cleaned up, put plaster on it, and went out for a 5k run later on, or the next day, and made it even worse. So I had to re-pop it all over again, then clean it all out, and I've been unable to do anything for the past few days, hardly able to walk. Ended up having to slit open the whole thing, clean it out with alcohol and disinfectant spray, and just bear the pain. Talking about pain, there's so much going on at the moment. That fits in with that saying. What's the saying? Hard men produce good lives produce soft men produce bad lives produce strong men, or hard men, or good men, whichever one it is. I think it's strong and soft. And it's very much about the cyclical nature of humanity, humans, societies, but also the end of societies, certain societies. What does this say? Sociedad Deportiva de Pesca of Puerto de Fuengirola. It's the sport fishing society in Fuengirola. And what I want to do is try to get over to the rocks. I don't know if I can. I'd love to get onto the harbour wall and walk along it to the end over there, but I'm not sure I can do that either. So the end of societies, the end of empires. And there's a lot of history around the end of empires. We've had a lot of empires have ended. I can't get through this way. They've completely blocked this whole thing off. Or have they? That looks like a door. And a walkway. Hello, puss. Psst, 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 psst. Don't know if this is open. Don't look like it's particularly safe to walk along those rocks, but I do notice that there are people that are over there. How the hell do I get round to where they are? How do I do it? They've possibly gone over the top or through and wandered along the rocks. I'm not going to do that with carrying this crap. So I was looking up a lot of stuff about the end of empires and how you end up with soft societies that used to rule everything, but then the masculinity starts disappearing. You end up with the feminization of men. You end up with people who are no longer interested in maintaining their society. They just want to enjoy the fruits of the society that has been given to them by their forefathers. And there's a lot of scholarly opinion on the internet that says, no, it's not true, that's not what happens. It's got to be a lot more nuanced than that. You've got to say different things than that. You can't just say that. And I'm thinking these people are talking a right load of bollocks. They are talking their ideology. They are trying to ensure that their ideology maintains a hegemony in the world of the internet and the words that are given out. And the information that is given out to people. Oh, that's a pain, that's closing now. I wanted to go through there. No entrance. Not allowed. So this is the fishing port at Fuengirola. And I get the feeling the answer is no, you're not allowed to go along unless I decide to go swimming or I traverse that rope. I can't get over there. No one else can. You gotta have the key. If your name's not on the list, you're not coming in. I'm right next to this water here. I'll just be very careful. But I am getting a bit older. My legs are getting a little less strong. So there's all this research and all this stuff on the internet. No, it's not about that. It's not about men becoming soft. It's not about men becoming effeminate. And there's me going, I think you're full of shite. I then looked up this other article, and it was discussing about a guy called Club, or Glub, Qlubb or Glubb. It's quite a recent one, and he was talking about Herodotus and the end of the empire there, and Herodotus's histories. Is he going to get something? I'll be a bit quieter. I don't want to scare the fish away for him. So Herodotus wrote a book. I think it was Herodotus. He was saying about it was a particular empire that had come to its end, and then this club was sort of mixing that and the information that Herodotus said with lots and lots of other aspects of different empires, and started connecting through to different ages of empires. So you start off where you've got a bunch of people in your country who have a tough life. It's a hard life, but it's tribal. It's also patriotic to the tribe. So then think what Alexander the Great did, then think what Genghis Khan did. And he was talking about this, having these people who are strong, tough, they live in extremely dangerous areas of the world and have managed to maintain their lives and their communities by being strong and tough and developing their society and having good leadership. I think I'm coming to a dead end here. And they have good leadership, and they fight with each other and with other tribes, and that is the development of the people that are required. The tribal patriotic people who have various numbers of allegiances. One is to their community, one is to their wider tribe, the other is to their area, and next to their nation. And their desires for the people that are running those things ebb and flow, of course. But it doesn't remove their patriotism. Their patriotism and their desire to fight, to protect what they have. And that's the base area that Club goes into as the first age of an empire, because the second age is expansion, where you bring people together. Well, let's go back out. Where you bring people together and then form an army and go and expand your territory. You invade somewhere, and that invasion leads to power, of which it leads to control of lots of various things, including receiving taxes and income from the people of the area that you have now taken over. You'll notice in Spain a hell of a lot a hell of a lot of Spanish flags and local flags, community flags, area flags, city flags, nation flags. It all aligns precisely with what I'm talking about. But it might have been slightly bastardized a little bit by the people in charge. Yes, Senor Pedro Sanchez, I am talking to you. This is a lovely site. We've got a parking spot. I can go to the other side of that bit here, can I? Hopefully I won't have to go back to get out. I'll just go through the car parking area. So Spain very much does signify that to me in a lot of ways, even if the people at the top that are running the country don't. And I was at the inauguration of the Fuengirola 2025 Feria and Fiestas the other day. I'll put something on the channel. I might have done it already. The members have seen some stuff. There was a band called Una y Nos Vamos that was doing some songs. Everybody was dancing and very happy. These are the smaller fishing boats. Don't think I've ever been down here before. Don't know if somebody's going to start shouting at me and I won't understand what they're saying. I'll only understand the passion that they say it with. So you end up with the age of expansion and invasions. You take over potentially softer lands and introduce your cultures and your ways and your methods of leadership and your government, just like the Romans did, really, just like has generally happened throughout history. And you go through a number of other ages. So there's the age of commerce, and the age of commerce is where the people who have taken over suddenly they realize that trade and expansion in trade and the more money that you get means the more power you have, especially with other tribes. The more ability you have, to spend this newfound wealth from commerce on infrastructure to make the lives of the people better, to make large buildings that revere the empire that has taken over, to introduce huge infrastructure projects, to make changes. So there's the age of commerce, and then you're going through various things, and you end up at an age of materialism. An age of materialism where the people just enjoy spending their money. The industries that were once abounding, that kept everybody in business, have disappeared from certain communities because you're more advanced now. You don't need to do those agricultural or low-level manual labour work. You do high-level work that shows you do not need to do those things. And so your people become used to not working hard, not striving. And yet, as usual, there will always be a bunch of people that end up having nothing. So we bring it into today's day and age. Margaret Thatcher here in the UK annihilated the mining industries back in the very early 1980s. Basically stopped mining, coal mining in the UK. It probably needed to be done because we didn't exactly have much coal left in them, and they certainly weren't a profitable way of doing it, and we could get coal from other places. But by ruining those industries and removing them, those industries maintained whole communities of working class people who were strong and hard and tough and principled and patriotic. And they weren't treated particularly well, but there was work and there was homes, there was housing, there was the ability to actually live without suffering too much, other than early death through emphysema, etc., etc. But if you remove the industries that a whole community is based on, and that community doesn't receive much money via that industry, it just receives enough, and these people don't necessarily have skills, massive amounts of education, then what are they going to do? What are those communities going to do? Well, I think what history has shown us here in the UK is those communities, the people who are there, the people who are in those communities, they remain there because they don't have the money to be able to move to somewhere else. They don't have the education to move to somewhere else. And I guess those places become sort of ghost towns, really. Let's move out a little bit. They become ghost towns. They become shells of themselves. There's no industry there. There's no work for a lot of the people, and those people can't move anywhere else. They can't move anywhere else. This guy's doing this. Da, 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 da. Ah, no. No, sorry, no. No, en público. En público. No. You're not going to fucking tell me that I can't do my video. So you end up screwing over these people who then start becoming less patriotic. Much less patriotic. And this is called the which age was it heading into? It's the age of intellectualism, where you start educating the majority of your society, but you still have people who are left out. And the age of intellectualism brings along a lot of other people that don't really understand the history of how they ended up with such a good with such a good society. They don't understand. They've forgotten the faces of their fathers. and their forefathers. They've got no history, they've got no education, but they've got their intellectual education of ideology. And so you end up with a society that demands that you no longer have strong, tough, swarthy men who can survive in any circumstances and who will maintain the societies and will keep everybody else alive. You don't end up with those. You end up with the rather effeminate men. You then lead into the age of decadence. And you can just look at DEI, wokeism, the freedoms of sexuality and sex, the end of shame, and as you end up in that position, you start becoming very weak to other societies. And those other societies look at you from an international relations perspective. The realist perspective of international relations, which is exactly what happened with the Ottoman Empire throughout the back end of the 19th century and into the early 20th century. The Ottoman Empire was being seen as very weak, and various countries and imperialists, England being one of them, France being another, were setting out their plans. Then the First World War comes along, the Ottomans join in with the Germans and their allies, and they lose. So you end up with other people taking over that land and then having to do something about it. But of course, England and France were coming out of the ends of their own empires that had previously been around for hundreds of years, and they were losing all of their power. They were losing their empires. And they wanted to do good. So they didn't actually take over the places. They didn't take the places over. They had a temporary mandate, both France and England, in order to hand it back to the people. The question was, which people? And decisions were made. And the historic land of Israel, the kingdom of Israel, under David, Israel and Judea under, I think, Solomon, because it got split up again. And the world goes round and round. Where are we at now? Of course, the 1940s, 1950s was 1300 years. 1300 years after ¿Qué es el problema? ¿Tienes una cámara? Yeah. No. Sí. Mi cámara, tu cámara. Es el mismo.
No, es good to me.
¿Ah?
No es mismo.
Es mismo. You're in public.
No.
En público.
Público, pero tú no te gusta la cámara.
What? problemas. No me problema.
No, es problema para mí.
No,
problema
no
para
me,
tú.
no me.
Mi problema.
No. Tú es en público.
No, es público, no
Público.
utiliza este.
Soy,
No, no, no.
estoy allí.
No, público no. No utiliza.
You don't be in public if you don't want to be on camera, okay? Don't be in public. Don't be in public. You're trying to sell stuff. You want people to see you. You want people to see you. You want to sell your illegal stuff. It's like, no, you go somewhere else. I'm allowed to be here. See, it's legal. It's LA. 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 So this is the shite that they sell here. These people are trying to give me shit when I was not looking at them, and they've made me look at them. Why? I don't know. I have no idea why they did this. It's stupid. It's stupid. Hey, I don't know what you're saying. And he's giving me camera back, as you do. So I'm here doing a vlog, and these guys give me a right load of crap because I'm using my camera in public. And they can get stuffed. Absolutely get stuffed. I don't care what they're doing, but they make a video. Absolute madness. Madness. If you want to be in public, be aware, cameras are around. Dickheads. There's another Spanish flag there. See, of course, now this is the culture that has arisen in Spain, where they don't understand European culture. These are the invaders that have come in and prevented European culture from being implemented. They are demanding the end of European culture. And he keeps giving me his yeah. And this guy just gives me camera back, as you'd expect, which is fine. I'm out in public as well. These people cannot expect that being out in public selling their shite means that they're not going to be on camera sometimes. But this is a perfect example. These are the people from other cultures that have invaded because the European Union, the United Kingdom are weak, very weak. They are positioning themselves. They may not be doing it purposefully in relation to we're invading, no. But they are the people that will become the army of the ones who choose to invade, and they will be on their side. They are now the fifth column. And this is where we're at. We're in this age of decadence where we love our materialism, we love our power, we love our wealth, we love all of this stuff. And we have got a bunch of governments throughout that are inviting in the people whose leaders will want to take over. And once they have enough people here, they will come and take over. So the question isn't, what do we do about that? What are we going to do about them? I said that wrong. The question might be, what do we do about it? But there's other options, of course. There are many other options. One of those options being, where do we invade? when push comes to shove, and we have been taken over, and it is happening, where do we invade? Where should we invade? Where is weak? Under the realist international relations perspective, who is weak? Where our strong men and their families can go. And we're back at, I'll call her Boadicea. I'll call her Boadicea. Because I'm not sure that we would actually win in a war of conquest. Eventually, I'm not sure we've got the strongest enough people to do it. I'm not sure that they are patriotic enough to do it. I think we've got a fifth column inside our societies, stuff like Antifa, Stand Up to Racism, all the other ideologists, the pro-Palestine lot, anybody that does not like the West, who has lived in the West and is enjoying all of the benefits that the West gives. All of these people, fifth columnist traitors who are causing the worst problems for a society that you can imagine, and are hastening the end of empires. Do the people who are strong, who will be used as the cannon fodder to try and protect the country and will fail, do they bother? Or do they go elsewhere and slowly build up their society in order to return one day? Probably not in their lifetimes, but one day return and retake, let's just say, England.